What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we are back for the Shadow King trials once again. In this video we're going to take a look on how you can obtain a perfect run. And what does it mean to get a perfect run? It means that we are looking for a score of 53, yes 53, so you can see right here 53. This is on the highest end of the scores, and this is going to net you on top of top 100. So depending on the characters you have available, depending on what your goals are, this video is going to help you achieving those goals. Now there is a wide range between the top 100 and the top number 1, and this is going to be based on how big you can make your characters. So even if you follow these strategies, you might not be able to get rank 1 because certain characters are going to be important to have at certain levels. We're going to talk about that in a second. We're going to do difficulty 15, we're going to do all the packs, and that's pretty much it for this run. This is the first run for the Shadow King trials, so if you are watching this in the future, on the second run, the packs or scourges, they might be different, or you might have higher difficulties based on a level cap increase or something, so keep that in mind. Okay. Let's take a look at the characters that we are going to use. In the comments below, we are going to have the save squads that you can use in order to do this. And you have to pay attention to the ISO weight, because the ISO weight is going to vary depending on the enemies that we are facing. So these are all teams that we are facing. One very important character that is going to change how high you can get in terms of score is going to be Blade, Old Man Logan, for example, and then you also have the Sentinels and the Ancient One. These are the 4 characters, I would say, that are going to make the most out of your score, because depending if these characters get crits or not, you might get your run with a much higher score. And this is why we have some variety between the rank 1 and the rank 100. But even if you don't have these characters at a higher level, this video should still help you get a consistent score and a very high score. I have made multiple runs. I would tell you more than 25 runs, and if you follow this, you should be able to get a 1653 score pretty consistent. And many of the times the enemies don't even have turns, so you don't even have to have a problem with that. Okay, so let's get started. And before that, as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Mouse Force content, and make sure you smash that like button like a boss. Before we start, I was supposed to post this on Patreon 5 days ago, but because I had some real life problems, it was not possible. And that's why here we are on the last day in order to do this. I wish I could upload it earlier, but it was just not possible. So I apologize for that. And I'm going to do voiceover through the entire run and mention which targets you have to focus on, which ISO weight you have to switch around on specific nodes, and go from there. So with that said, let's get started. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look at the first node. This node we're going to use Odin, Val, Nightcrawler, Old Man Logan, and Mephisto. You could replace Odin with Deathpool or Thanos Endgame, so keep that in mind. You want to attack the Moon Knight and use the special ability of Mephisto, so you can apply the expose to as many targets as possible. With Nightcrawler, you want to apply one more expose to which target does not have expose, and then you kinda want to eliminate the enemies as fast as possible. If you are lucky, you can trigger the second wave, and after this you can even trigger the third wave. So this is where we're gonna start having problems. Sometimes you can trigger the third wave right away, other times not so much. And here we have Val with a big ultimate. I used her in the past as a raider, sometimes as a striker, but you can see that the goal is to one-shot all these enemies with Val. And depending on your RNG, your crit chance and whatever, you might be able to do it. On Odin's second turn, you want to use the special to activate all those positive effects. And then you want to make sure that you save the ultimate of Old Man Logan and the ultimate of Nightcrawler for upcoming enemies. And after this, you just have to one-shot those enemies on the other side. And once again, depending on your RNG, on the crits and whatever else, you might be able to do this a lot faster. My top score on this node was 1488, and you can see right here I got 1456. Let's go for mission number 2, and for this one we're going to use Illuminati without Captain Britain. This one we have to switch around the ISO weights depending on what you feel the most comfortable with. I like to use Black Bolt as a striker and everyone else a raider. You want to ability block one of the Cravens, usually the one in the corner, and what you want is for them to rebound chain to the right side, but as you guys can see, this is not always the case. Then you want to stun the leader, and you want to hard focus on Abomination so it does not stun one of your targets. If you are lucky, you can slow down the lizard, and that's going to give you a huge advantage. And you want one of the Cravens to attack you, so after you can flip the offense down into offense up, and this is going to give you a massive damage boost. After that, you just want to clear as many as possible, but try to clear the targets from inside or outside. It depends on how you like to play it, but you want to make sure that all the enemies spawn together, so after you can destroy all of them with Shuri ultimate. So you can see right here, we're going to attack 4 targets. This is not the perfect run by any means. You want to have 6 targets altogether. And after this, you want to destroy the Green Goblin Classic. Now, you have 2 options. Or you ability block him with the Shuri Special to remove his charges, or you just want to slow him down just to make sure that you have enough time to finish him off. You want to switch targets all around just to make sure that everyone is together, and at the same time that your assists are not going to go to waste, so you can maximize how much damage you can do. So let's take a look at how much score we got on this one, and I'll tell you my maximum. So we got 1456 and my maximum was 1472. Okay, moving on to the next mission, we have Cabal with Apocalypse and Agatha. I have tried different teams, and different teams can also give you high results, but this was the one I thought it was the most consistent. So I start off with the Apocalypse Special on the left side, just to apply defense down and stun to the enemies. Does this make a difference? I'm not sure. Maybe there is a better way to play this node, but either way, I think it does not matter, because as long as you have Agatha, you are going to get a high score. So Agatha takes 2 turns back to back for some reason. Then you want to use the Namor Special to delete the Black Knight and the Rescue. And once again, what you want to do is that make sure that you delete the characters at the corners, so you have the biggest number of enemies at the same time. If you do the Falcon Punch with Apocalypse, you want to make sure that he's targeting the Captain America or US Agent, because they have the block chance. I got 1528, and I always got 1528. So maybe here you can get 1536 or 1544. I'm not exactly sure why. If you guys know how, let me know in the comments below. Okay, so we have node number 4. And this is the Brawlers node. We're going to use Guardian, Lay Death Strike, we're going to use Nightcrawler, Blade, and Thanos. You could use Ancient One if you have him big enough instead of Guardian, but it really depends on how much characters you have at high levels. Okay, so there is a little bit of RNG here, and to be honest, I never got a really high score here. My best score here was 1456. But once again, I think it all comes down to how big your blade is, because you're gonna see that my blade many times he hits like a wet noodle, and that's not great. Now, depending on your Lay Death Strike swipes, you want to make sure that you stun the target that did not get swiped twice. So because my Lay Death Strike, she attacked the second position to the third rather than the second to the first, then you have to stun the Sentinel in the corner. If that's not the case, then you want to attack the Sentinel in the middle. Then what you want is to stun, if you can, the Omega Sentinel, the girl in the middle, and hopefully she'll get stunned and she'll get exposed. Otherwise, you have to be very careful with her. You really don't want her to have any turn, otherwise that's going to be a huge problem for you. With Omega Red, you can kind of ignore him. You just have to worry about the Sentinels and always stun the sentinel that is about to take a turn, or rewind them. That's the two options, right? And this is why it's preferable for us to keep attacking the ones in the corners, keep controlling them. So once again, you have all the enemies in the middle that you can control at the same time. So now you're going to use the special and ultimates of well, our characters to speed up this as much as possible. You can see here once again that my blade is attacking like a wet noodle, and that's why we cannot get a very good score here. You want to make sure that the enemies take turns, so after they die with bleeds, as long as you are sure that they're going to die with those bleeds. So I got 1448, and once again my maximum was 1456, so not much better than this. If you have a big blade, that's a different story. Okay, now we have mission number 5, Undying with Mercs for Money, or with Mercenaries. Here we're gonna do a trick. A big shout out for VNM that told me about this trick. So VNM told me that if Titania from the middle attacks you first, that after you can ability block her and you can spread that ability block. He recommended me to use Old Man Logan as a raider, but I'm gonna be honest, every time I use Old Man Logan as a raider, he would never flip the taunts from the absorbing mans, so I always had to use him as a skirmisher. And after that, you just have to throw those negative effects away to the enemies. This is another level that if you have a big zombie Iron Man or zombie Juggernaut, you're gonna do a lot better score, of course, but unfortunately those characters are expensive to get up, so we cannot do that. Okay, so here we go, we're gonna smash him in the face. A zombie Juggernaut, if you can strikerize away. You should have use everyone as a striker, Old Man Logan as a skirmisher, and that's it. Here we're gonna use once again the ultimate of Old Man Logan without fear, and now you just have to charge up Death Pool. It's not necessary, by the way, it's not necessary. It can help you on the last node, so it's not a big deal. Okay, so the ability block you want to spread for everyone, so they don't attack you way too much. Their abilities can be annoying because they have the crucible buffs. And here we are trying to get a little bit of speed with the ultimate of Zombie Juggernaut, because we are not going to use him on the last node where you can use Undying and Mercs. You want to make sure that you stun the Kang, and then you want to make sure that you use the Ela abilities in order to finish off the Ultron. But as you'll see, you need to get lucky here. Like, this requires multiple resets, and I just didn't have the time for it. So if you want to have a higher score, just do the same thing, just do a few more resets. And once again, we are going to use the enemies taking turns for the enemies to die and us getting higher points. So we got 1448, and I think, yeah, I always got that score. I never got a score higher or lower than this. So 1448, that's it. Okay, Annihilator's node. This node is annoying as hell, and especially because the Gore passive is not working. So I'm using Gore and Thanos as strikers, everyone else as raiders. And you can get a really high score here if you get very, very lucky. And what does it mean in terms of luck? It means that you need your Thanos in game to get attacked and his passive to trigger. Unfortunately, it's very, very rare. I don't know, maybe my Thanos is too big or whatever. Maybe if you have a small Thanos, it's better for you. But it's all about RNG, right? You have 5 targets and you need Thanos to get attacked. If that happens, if Thanos gets attacked and pushed below 50, you can do this very, very easily. Otherwise, not so much. Okay, so, I mean, you just spam your abilities. And with Thanos as a striker and with Gore as a striker, you try to finish off the Panda Pools. But yeah, so even when Gore kills Panda Pool, sometimes they still revive. I'm not sure why. It says all characters killed by this target cannot be revived, but yeah, unfortunately they still can revive. And then you want to ability block the North Star, then you want to ability block the Old Man Logan. Hard focus on Old Man Logan. Make sure you apply the heal block to the enemies so they have less resistance with the Silver Surfer. And then use the mind control from Ultimus as often as possible and try to finish off the Old Man Logan as early as possible. So once again, if we had Thanos getting attacked early on to clear those Panda Pools faster, this will be over much faster with a much higher score. but unfortunately it's just the way it is. Here we're going to use the striker as a way to clear those death proofs. Unfortunately got a little bit unlucky, so we lost a little bit of score here. So yeah, you can get much higher score here, but you need to get lucky. So we got 1392 and my highest score is 1432, so much higher than that. Okay, now we are on the second global villain node, and this one is a node where you can really get a very high score. So you want to make sure that once again you clear the targets from the outside part. That's your main goal. And you also have that Spider-Man there. You can finish him off easily like that. And now we're going to use the basic from Iron Patriot to apply defense down to the enemies. And once again, make sure that we are deleting the targets from outside so we can focus our big damage on the enemies on the other side. Once again, depending on how big your Sentinel and your Nimrod is, you might get a much higher score. Believe me, if you get a 3 diamonds, Nimrod and Sentinel, this will be super easy. But even so, we can still get a very high score with a 1544 on this node. And that's the highest score I ever got. Usually 1536, this one 1544. Okay, so second brawler node, we're gonna take a look at Blade, Ancient One, Lady at Strike, Thanos, and Nightcrawler. I'm gonna be honest here, I didn't have my cooldowns ready as I usually have, because I usually start with the Nightcrawler ultimate, but even so, it's not a problem. If you have Nightcrawler ultimate, use it, and make sure that Bishop is going to attack your Ancient One. If you don't have Ancient One, use Black Cat, because you need Bishop to get counter-attacked, so he loses the taunt, and after that you can blind Gambit with Blade. The counter-attacks here from Ancient One are very useful, because they will help us finishing off the enemies. Here you can also get lucky with Dazzler doing her ultimate and pushing Thanos and game below 50%. That's also going to speed up your score and your run quite a lot. Unfortunately, on this run we did not got lucky, and once again I didn't have my cooldowns fully prepared for this. Even so, we did okay. You can see right here that we were a little bit unlucky on when the enemies died, but overall we were still able to get a decent score. Once again, depending on the size of your Blade, Ancient One, you might get a different score. If you don't have Ancient One, you can use Guardian to give offense up to your characters, and you're still gonna perform very well. So I got a score of 1480, and my highest score on this node is actually 1528, so you could do a lot better if you had your cooldowns ready. Okay, for the second Undying and Mercenary nodes, we are going to use full Mercenary, and on this one you have to watch out for the Cloak ultimate. Very important. I usually delete Cloak right away, so I don't have to deal with this bullshit. And after that, you want to make sure that Old Man Logan gets attacked, so he gets speed bar. With that said, we are using Deadpool, we are using Daken. We want to make sure that we have full cooldowns on them. And you want to go after Dagger, because you want to make sure that she does not heal up anyone. And here, once again, depending if you get revives or not, well, you're gonna get a higher score, right? You got lucky, we were able to delete all the enemies, even that some of them revived. And after that, once again, you want to make sure that you delete the characters on the sides, so after you can focus all your AoE damage to the characters in the middle. If you use this strategy, this is really going to increase your performance in multiple nodes, where you want to attack as many targets as possible. Okay, so now you're going to use the Old Man Logan ultimate to apply the traumas and the defense downs and whatever to the enemies. Daken, we're going to use his ultimate to attack as many targets as possible. And then we have the Adam Warlock and the Moondragon. Sometimes you can charge up your Deadpool fast enough to use her ultimate against Adam Warlock so he doesn't revives. But here, because it was going so well in terms of the other revives, I just skip it and I just went through the enemies, and we got lucky over here with the Deadpool kill, and that deleted Adam Warlock, so it also helped us to speed up. 1472, and that's my highest score on this node. So I'm pretty okay with that. Okay, I think it's time for the final node, mission number 10, and we're gonna use Illuminati without what's his name? Without Hank Pym. Now, you can use full Illuminati or you can use Illuminati with Thanos. It's pretty much the same thing. Once again, the only character you don't want to have is Hank Pym because he doesn't do enough damage here. And you want to apply the exposure with Thanos on Sif. Once again, if you don't have Thanos for this node, it's fine. You definitely need Captain Britain here. And you want to make sure that you clap that damage as much as possible and you attack the target with expose as much as possible. Here you can also get lucky with Lady Thor, and if she attacks your Thanos, you might get lucky and be able to get him below 50. It's going to clear all the negative effects away or positive effects away from the enemies. That's really going to speed up your progress. But like I said, it's a lot of RNG. With the Black Bolt Striker, you want to make sure that sometimes you attack those characters with death proofs just to make sure that you are clearing them away. You want to delete Hela as fast as possible, and then you want to delete Val. The other characters in the middle, you can really ignore them because just with the splash damage alone, you're gonna finish them off. And if you are lucky, you can apply defense down to the enemies, and that will do it a lot faster. But as you guys can see, I got very lucky with my attacks. You just want to make sure that you have the Shuri ultimate in order for you to finish this run. So we got 1448, and we can get a higher score than that. My best score here was 1472. Okay, so that's the end of the run. As you guys can see, we got 1653 plus 72. And once again, that's going to put you in the very high score, around the top 500 for sure. If you reset several of the nodes, you could get much higher score. Like I said, based on the size of my account, my best score would be 1653 252. But like I said, and like we saw at the beginning of the video, you can go all the way to 400. The last 3 digits, they can be 400. But this is going to require big Sentinels, big Nimrod, big Blade, and also big Ancient One. Okay guys, so that's going to be the video how to get a perfect run on the Shadow King trials. Once again, by perfect run we mean that the last 5 digits, it's 53, and your range is between 100 and 400 depending on the size of your roster. This should allow you to get a 7 stars, what's the name of this guy? Shadow King. And you also want to get this Astral Force as many as you can, because that's going to influence the amount of red stars you get on your Shadow King, plus a decent amount of gold, training materials, and crimson gear. So that's going to be the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, and if you found the video helpful, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Mouse Force content, and I'll catch you guys later.